Hey guys, Pieguyrulz here, and welcome back to the Adventure Time TVlogs. So here is what would appear to be somewhat of a finale to the whole Finn's arm arc. Well, I mean, it is a finale to that arc, but I don't know if it's the end of the arc. I'm still kind of hoping for some sort of really cool dramatic showdown with Finn and his dad. I mean, Finn's dad has to show up at some point, right? Like, he wasn't just introduced to be like, hey, he's a bad dad, and then have him get out of the show forever, right? They wouldn't do that, no. But this episode, it's an allegory for something or other, and I still don't really know how they got away with all they got away with on this show. I mean, I've seen some really dirty jokes in like Rocko's Modern Life and stuff, but this entire plot is like a metaphor for things, especially with Finn's flower arm and Breezy's desire for it. It's it's interesting, but I have to give the show credit for actually going for a story like this. Like, a lot of shows will do like allegories for alcohol or drugs or something. Like, they'll have the character get addicted to soda, but in this episode, Finn gets addicted to kissing random ladies, you know. And while that's a little bit more tame than, I suppose, the adult version of that, they still kind of run with it. Like, they show Finn pursuing these empty relationships for nothing but physical pleasure. Like, that's pretty deep for a kid's show. And for what it's worth, I think that it works. I think that there's a very delicate line between an episode like this working and an episode like this coming off as just like kind of cheesy, cliche, parody, that kind of material. But I think it dances a line very well. You know, I watched it, and then it took me another watch to really decide whether or not I really liked this episode or I thought it was really stupid. But I really liked it, and I think, especially if nothing else, this episode and this season overall has been really beautifully animated. I was watching a season 2 episode, Susan Strong actually, and ironically, and while the animation wasn't bad there, it was very flat. It was very just kind of like, here is animation. It's clean. It's from the 2000s. Here's what it is. But if you look at something like this, or The Tower, or even like James 2 from this season, like, everything is shaded, and there's all sorts of sunlight. And it's not just that the animation is better, their choice of shots are a lot more cinematic and dramatic, and it's more than just, here are the characters. It's, here's a low angle, and you see the sunlight as Finn's walking away into it, you know, like, really dramatic stuff. And they do cool things with perspective here, because Breezy's the little bee. So that's cool. As far as Breezy, I still don't really know what to think of her as a character. She's kind of interesting. I'm still not decided of whether or not she actually liked Finn ever, or if she just, even at the end of the story, just kind of wanted the flower. I don't know, but it was really interesting. I liked a lot of things about the episode. I thought it was just kind of like interesting in that you didn't really know where it was going, and I didn't expect Finn to grow his arm back in this way. But I guess it works. I mean, there are better ways that could have gone about doing that, but it was really interesting and cool, and especially when Finn was like, the bark grew and he was unwrapping it, and like his hand came out all sappy, like you weren't sure if he had like a new arm made of sap or like what, and he flicks it off, and he had a stinger in the palm of his hand, and I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if that's gonna stay there with him, or if that was just a thing that he also flicked off, but interesting to note. I still kind of want another Finn and Jake goof around episode, and I think the issue is that James 2 was this comic relief episode, and you know, it was fine, it was all right, but like, you can do comic relief where it's Finn and Jake goofing off like the show originally was. And I mean, maybe this is just kind of like unpleasable fans, and that we asked for more serious story arcs, and now we are in a serious story arc where, you know, for multiple episodes on end, Finn is moping. And while that's cool and complex for characters, you know, after a while, you just kind of want to see Finn and Jake goofing off at least once. You know, just kind of have them go on a generic adventure where they fight a monster and maybe there's an evil witch or something like that, you know. I miss those episodes, and it kind of sucks that they delegate the comic relief now to just side characters that we don't care about at all. And even beyond Finn and Jake, we haven't seen, like, Jake stuff, you know, like, I don't know if the show's actually had too many episodes that are just focused on Jake. There was the one where the party one where Jake was partying all the time. There's been a few, Jake the dog, but you know, even if that's what it takes just to have Jake as an adventurer, I feel like we haven't seen Jake very often. Maybe this is leading to some sort of falling out where Finn is maturing and Jake isn't. I don't know. So as it stands, I think it was a pretty strong episode, with good animation, an interesting and unpredictable story, and some really, really disturbing stuff with Lumpy Space Princess. I don't even want to know what happened between her and Finn. I more than kissing. But I know coming up we have the weird Japanese episode. That'll be interesting. I don't know if that's the next episode specifically, but, you know, here's hoping we get at least 1 or 2 traditional back to basics episodes of Adventure Time in the near future. Because as much as I am enjoying the story arc stuff, I don't think they're good enough at it yet where they can just keep me, you know, entertained. They can't really balance it, because it seems like whenever we get this serious stuff, it's so serious. And there, you know, there's jokes in here, obviously, but Finn is just kind of so much into the seriousness, and I guess it'll wear off now that he has his arm back, and, you know, he's justifiably depressed, but it's so serious that it's like you can't have any funny moments with Finn in this episode at all, and I guess it makes sense. It's just, I don't know. It'd be nice to see our characters happy for a little bit, right? So yeah, Pieguyrulz, out.